Let's quickly talk about rare no-doc business loans for large amounts. And in today's conversation, I want to compare and contrast Navigate Firm, Fundigo, and Kapitus. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sort of Killer Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's convo, I want to speak to you about rare no-doc business loans for large amounts, and the three players that I want to compare and contrast in today's conversation are Navigate Firm, Fundigo, and Kapitus. First of all, before we get into the actual review, please understand that when we speak about no-doc loan, we are speaking about the kind of business loan that requires very little documentation. And usually they would just ask you for a bank statements or a connection to your accounting software. So the lender just want to have probably the last three bank statements, or they want to, if you're using QuickBooks or using Wave or Xero, they want you to connect, they want you to link up their system to your accounting software. In some cases, they might even ask you to connect to your bank account. What they're trying to do here is they're just paying attention to the moolah, paying attention to the cash, the liquidity transactions, the liquidity movements in your account. And when we speak about no-doc business loans, the APR usually oscillates between 7% and 39.99%, sometimes higher, depending upon the industry, the macro of your sector, and the company's fundamentals. And this, when we speak about no-doc loans, you have a constellation of loans, everything from MCAs, right, merchant cash advances, to revenue-based financing, to accounts receivable factoring or financing. All this kind of funding options are and can be no-doc business loans. And startups and established businesses are welcome. And alternative lenders usually grant this kind of loans. So you're not going to have no-doc loans from a traditional lender such as Chase or Wells Fargo. No, you can get it from an alternative lender such as Kapitus, Navigate Firm, or Fandigo, or in some cases from an online lender. This kind of no-doc loans requires no personal guarantee, and they would want you to do it on an EIN basis. In other words, you need to have a business for it. Before I get into the actual review, please check out this short loans evaluation approach video. We do have a strict approach on this show when it comes to evaluating, categorizing, and reviewing business loans. So check this out. All right, let me first start with Navigate Firm. So when you think about Navigate Firm, I want you to think about a supermarket of no-doc business loans. They have a whole repertoire of no documentation and documentation business loans. And so they offer everything from SBA financing to heavy equipment loans to healthcare financing arrangements to commercial real estate loans. They even have unsecured lines of credit and also merchant cash advances. So the thing with Navigate Firm is that they do have generous amounts. So your existing business may qualify for $100,000 all the way to $500,000. And when it comes to lines of credit, it can even go higher, from $1 million to $5 million. And we love the fact that with Navigate Firm, depending on your macro, in other words, your sector, your geography, which part of the country you operate from, they might only ask you for your bank statements. We have seen in transactions where they ask for bank statements and that's it. But we've also seen in some transactions they will ask for your bank statements, the last 3 monthly bank statements, but also your business tax returns. So this could be your 1065 or your 1120S or 1120C. Okay, so and that's all they're asking. They're not asking you for your financial statements or any other information. In terms of requirements, we've seen the Navigate firm is they're pretty flexible. In other words, even if you are a startup, you've been in business for less than 6 months, they can still work with you as long as you are able to demonstrate through a business plan, for example, that your business has potential. Okay, and in terms of the APR, this is a biggie. There is no public information about the APR the Navigate firm offers. We actually did call them up. They didn't want to give us that information, but based on our research and based on reports that we have heard from people who got loans from them, they charge somewhere from 3% all the way to 23%, depending again on the geography, the states where you are, the kind of business you have. Okay, and we love the fact that you don't have to pledge anything personal. There's no personal guarantee required. This business loan, this no-doc business loan can be EIN only if you structure things properly. You got to have a business though. Please don't do this on a sole proprietorship. You're not even going to qualify for it. So you got to have an LLP, a limited liability partnership, or an LLC, or an S Corp, or a C Corp. Your call. Based on our research, the merchant cash advances that Navigate firm offers are pretty good also. In terms of their no-doc character, this is just fantastic. They're not even asking for anything. All they're asking for is your electronic statements. In other words, first of all, to have an MCA in general, you need to have electronic sales, right? So you got to have sales from credit cards or debit cards. It has to be electronic. You can't have cash transactions and try to qualify for an MCA. No, that won't work. So what you want to do is you want to have you want to send Navigate firm, if you're interested in their MCA products, you need to send them copies of your electronic statements from your credit card processor, and they'll just look at it. They'll look at the volume, they'll look at the frequency, they'll look at the turnover on a monthly basis, and they will qualify you. One thing we have seen here is that with the MCA from Navigate firm, they allow you to do whatever you want with the money. In other words, they don't have strict, I would say, guidelines in terms of use of funds. So you can use the money for expansion, for advertising, for supplies, equipment, or inventory. They have easy payment terms. No collateral is required. Very little paperwork. Quick cash, no fixed payments, application fee, equity loss, or closing cost. Okay, so this is kind of something you need to think about. And they also offer equipment financing. So folks, I'm walking you through, when we speak about Navigate firm, I'm walking you through the constellation of no-doc business loans they have, not only for your startup, but also for your existing businesses. If you're not interested in MCAs with them, you can qualify for equipment financing. And Navigate firm can provide you with a loan to help buy equipment for your business. And when it comes to this kind of loan, they don't even ask for anything because this is collateralized loan. This is a collateralized loan. So they may not even ask you for a bank statements. Of course, they want to have more information about the equipment you're trying to buy, right? And they can finance this all the way to $500,000. So whether you are a startup, whether you are a bad credit business, a business with bad credit, that sounds better, right? No matter the I would say the situation, your credit situation at the moment, Navigate firm will work with you. If you have any question, call them back. You can call them at 1-850-483-8248. 1-850-483-8248. Let's now talk about the second player here. We have Fundigo. With Fundigo, you basically have what we love with Fundigo is the customer service and the fact that they really will work with you on a one-on-one basis. So they have a small business no-doc loans, and you get quick access to working capital. You can apply by entering basic business information and link your revenue data online. You get a quick decision so you can compare different funding options to see what works best for your situation. And you get a business loan So here, they're not asking you to link your account statement, your bank account rather. They're asking you to link your accounting software. So they have a straight insights into your revenue. Okay, now the question is, are you comfortable with that? If you're comfortable with that, then that's pretty good. Okay, that's really good. And what they do is that Fundigo, they pay attention to something called the DSCR, your debt service coverage ratio. This is basically the formula is net earnings divided by loan repayment cost. And what they do here is they pay attention to see exactly whether or not you qualify based on their guidelines. Remember that business lending, is a rules-based model, right? So in Fundigo's case, they pay attention to your DSCR. So by dividing your total weekly, monthly, or yearly earnings by the corresponding amounts of your payment installment, you get your DSCR, which is a pretty good indicator of whether you'll be able to repay your loan at the end of the day. And a lender such as Fundigo pays attention to your DSCR, and they want to make sure that you have a DSCR between 1.2 and 1.35. Okay, if you have a DSCR of 2 or higher, this is really not good for them. One thing that you also need to pay attention to is that with Fundigo, you have several types of no-doc business loans. They offer revenue-based financing. They offer equipment financing. They offer residential real estate secured lending. They offer credit-based financing. And they offer commercial real estate secured funding. So depending on your industry, the geography, depending on the kind of business model that you have, Fundigo will actually structure a no-doc business loan for you, whether you are B2B, B2C, B2G, G is standing for government here. Okay, I'll be right back, but after this, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sort Kiwi Show. I'm still having a conversation with you about large no-doc business loans, and we are comparing and contrasting Navigate Firm, Fundigo, and Kapitus. One thing we have actually seen that's pretty interesting for us is that with Fundigo, they have a very clear way to apply. And I want you to look on the screen right now. You can see on the screen here. With Fundigo, you have two options when it comes to no-doc, I would say, business funding options. So you have a line of credit or term funding. Which one fits your situation? Of course, this show is speaking about no-doc business loans, but maybe a line of credit might be the better option for you. In either case, you can see on the screen here, the line of credit, you have a quick access to revolving line, and the maximum amount is $250,000. And for the term funding, you have advances up to $2.5 million and the terms up to 24 months. So you got to take into account the fact that for the no-doc business loan, you have a larger amount, but you also have a shorter time frame to repay the loan. So this is important because this will affect your liquidity situation. And you can see on the screen here also that actually Fundigo allows you to build an option that works for your business. You can see all the scenarios, and this is, whether you choose for you want to repay 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. You can see that the maturity of the loan does affect the amount that you have to repay every month. And in terms of business loans, no-doc business loans that they have, I gave them to you quickly before, but I just want to quickly again remind you that they do offer equipment financing. So Fandigo can help you finance up to 100% of the equipment you need for your business. Again, on a no-doc basis. Commercial real estate funding. Credit-based funding. This is an interesting offer because they will arrange for you to borrow money until you have raised your credit limits. And they offer flexible term financing ranging from $5,000 to $500,000 that can cover your business needs. And credit-based funding solutions are a distinguished addition to your capital plan and will help your business meet expansion and growth opportunities, as well as your ongoing operations and cash flow management needs. Okay, so when we think about funding businesses, a credit-based financing arrangement is an ideal structure for newer businesses with limited assets to leverage. You also have equipment secure lending. So this is really good. The third player I want to speak to you today about is Kapitus. So when we think about Kapitus, I want you to think about some sort of shopping mall of no-doc business loans. And the products they offer are diverse. Okay, so they offer revenue-based financing options. They have what they call the Helix healthcare financing. They offer no-doc business loans. They do offer SBA loans. SBA loans are by default. They're not no-doc loans because SBA, this is a government guaranteed loan, so they actually require a lot of paperwork. But I was just giving you the repertoire of loans that Kapitus offers, and SBA loans just happen to be part of those. They also offer a no-doc line of credit, invoice factoring, equipment financing, purchase order financing, and concierge services, which they add they actually kind of offer that as a complementary option to their no-doc business loans. One thing for sure, if you have any question, you can contact Kapitus at 1-800-780-7133. 780-7133. You can also email them. The cool thing about Kapitus is that they have competitive industry rates. You have flexible terms to fit your business needs, and the application is pretty fast, 5 minutes max. You can receive approval in as little as 4 hours and funding in as little as 24 hours. Isn't that wonderful? We just love that. In terms of their minimum business requirements, they want you to have a 625 credit score. We have seen in our experience that they can actually go as low as 575 if you have the right business fundamentals. They want you to be in business for 2 years at least. Again, they can be flexible on that end also if you're able to have the right business application in addition to a business plan, which we advise anyway. And they want you to have a $250K average annual revenue. And Kapitus business loans are available to businesses in almost every industry, and they are useful when unexpected expenses arise. And here are some of the industries that most frequently use Kapitus business loans: personal services, business services, general contractors, restaurants, retail, and specialty trades. I want to dig a little deeper here. Kapitus offers what we call a fantastic, no documentation required business line of credit. And here you actually, they have brought down the annual revenue requirement to $180 per year. And this with this service, you only need to show them that your revenue. That's all they care about. Okay, and you can show the revenue by linking your accounting software to their system or showing them transactional value on your business account. Again, this is just the business bank account for the last 3 months or 6 months. And with this no-doc business line of credit, you can stabilize cash flow. You are able to have easy access to this amount. You can save money, and you can increase, based on our research, adaptability. And this lines of credit from Kapitus are usually great for business services, general contractors, trucking, real estate, retail, plumbing, and electric. Again, if your industry is not in those categories, you can still contact them. Not a problem. They also offer revenue-based financing, again, on a no-doc basis. So here you are able to access, let's say, $20,000, $100,000, all the way to $500,000, based, of course, on your revenue. Because the revenue-based financing is based, as the name implies, on your revenue. So you're going to have to prove either through your statement of income, your business's P&L, profit and loss statement, or your cash flow statements, or a link up to your accounting software, or any other form that shows Kapitus that you indeed have the revenue to back up the kind of funding you are requesting. Okay, and this is really great because this kind of funding is really fast. You can receive your funds in as little as 1 day, and Kapitus is really great with that. And you're able to actually use the money again to do virtually anything: expand, get more staff. You can grow. You can actually grow your inventory. You can actually sign new contracts. You can take care of things that come up with cyclicality and seasonality. Okay, so this is really, the use of funds is pretty diverse here. So folks, I have compared and contrasted those three players. So we have a Kapitus, Fundigo, and Navigate Firm. At the end of the day, here is the decision time here. Which one should you choose? It really depends. It depends on a repertoire of things. Depends on a constellation of factors, depending on the macro of your company, your operational dynamics, what goes on within the company, what kind of stage you're in right now, what are your funding needs, right? Funding needs it's really important. So I want you to go back to your statement of cash flow right now. Don't tell me, don't just give me an answer. If I ask you, what are your funding needs? Don't just give me an answer on top of your head and say, listen, I think I need 10 grand or I need 100 grand. No, go back to your financials, analyze your statement of cash flows to know exactly what's going on. And you might be surprised that you actually might need more money or less money, depending on the analysis. So what I'm trying to say here is that based your number on a solid analysis of your financials. You also, whether you choose Fundigo, Navigate Firm, or Kapitus depends on the urgency of the liquidity needs. How fast do you need the moolah? How quickly do you need the cash? Depends on the industry you're in. What is the cycle in that industry? What is the macro in that industry? Do we have a convergence of factors towards that industry or a divergence of factors? How lender friendly is that industry? Is there any regulatory issue going on with that industry, right? What are the requirements? So Fundigo, Kapitus, and Navigate Firm each has their own requirements. So you need to make sure that their requirements are in sync with your business's operations, right? Obviously, those three players offer no-doc business loans, but each no-doc business loans has its own requirements. What is the type of funding that you need? Do you need an MCA, a merchant cash advance, or a revenue-based financing option, or a no-doc line of credit, or equipment financing? Whatever you need. What is the legal structure of your business? Some lenders might be more interested in LLCs instead of LPs, depending on the states where you were incorporated. And remember, at the end of the day, every business loan that we have reviewed in this show has no personal guarantee requirement. Our pick, folks, after reviewing and contrasting and comparing all those three players, is Kapitus. We have given Kapitus 9/10, Fundigo 8.5/10, and Navigate Firm 8/10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.